Coming up on the November 17th edition of Sports Extra, Marquise Williams leads Carolina to a thrilling comeback against Pitt on homecoming. How they did it and what it means for UNC's bowl chances.
Basketball has begun. Strong performances all weekend long have Carolina fans running out for biscuits.
And speaking of biscuits, you know what goes great with sports? Food. We take a look at Concessions at Carolina. All that, and a 10-0 weekend at home. Sports Extra starts
right now.
From the University of North Carolina School of Journalism and Mass Communication, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics, this is Sports Extra.
With homecoming, postseason play, and the return of basketball, it was one of the busiest sporting weekends in Chapel Hill in quite some time. Welcome to Sports Extra. I'm Luis Fernandez.
And I'm Susanna Black. Whether it was just the beginning to the season, a key conference matchup, or earning a ticket to the Final Four, every Carolina team at home won this weekend. Talk about a homecoming. But before we get to that, we turn to some more serious news. University officials are expecting to hear from the group that accredits UNC, the Southern Associations of Colleges and Schools, early this week. The group announced it has finished reviewing the Weinstein report. The ruling could have a huge effect on Carolina. Worst case scenario, UNC loses its accreditation and millions of dollars in federal funds. When paper classes were originally discovered, the SACS required Carolina to offer free classes to students and alumni who took them.
Moving on now to the football field. This weekend was homecoming, and Carolina football didn't disappoint in what was a thrilling game that came down to the final seconds. Carolina trailed Pitt for the entire first half, but pulled ahead on this 45-yard touchdown run by quarterback Marquise Williams. In the fourth quarter, Carolina had the lead 34-28, but Pitt running back wasn't having any of that. James Conner, he plows through three Carolina defenders on his way to give Pitt the lead 35-34 with 3 minutes left in the game. But Williams and the offense drove down the field, converted the key fourth down, and punched it in from the 1-yard line off of TJ Logan touchdown run. Check him out. He was happy. The question, though, is could Pitt stage a comeback with less than a minute left? Nope, didn't happen. The Tar Heels forced a fumble to hold on 40-35. Williams had a great game on the ground and attributes his success to his state of mind.
Me and one-on-one with the linebacker, my chances are going to be me. And I felt confident, I felt like no one man's going to bring me down. And that's how I think when I'm running the football. And, that's when I just wanted to put the team on my back and let them know that, hey, man, I'm in this for y'all.
Williams started off a little slow, but ended up having a great game. He's our player of the week. A lot of Williams' work came on the ground. He had 122 yards rushing for 3 touchdowns, including this 23-yard jump and dash to keep Carolina in the game in the first half. Through the air, Williams had a solid day, just under 300 yards passing and 1 touchdown. One thing that really stood out, though, was his toughness. You have to respect it. He was getting beat up throughout the entire game, getting hit left and right.
Now, Williams struggled in the first half. A combination of pressure and drops really got to him. But once he got going, he did something no one in a Carolina uniform has ever done. That brings us to this week's hidden stat. We've talked about how Williams is a rhythm passer, but this is on a whole other level. Williams completed 16 passes in a row. That's a Carolina football record. It all started with a 7-yard pass to Quinshaw Davis in the second quarter, and the streak came to an end with an incomplete pass to Matt Collins 45 yards down the field. All right, Lewis, Carolina has won 5 games, and to become bowl eligible, they only need to win 1 more.
Yeah, Susanna, there are 2 games left. They have to grab at least 1 win. And you know what? They aren't going to be easy. One is in Durham against Duke, and the other is at home against NC State.
And the start time for that game is now set. It'll be a 12:30 game, just like against Pitt.
Yeah, but first, there's the Duke game, which is this Thursday on ESPN at 7:30. Let's go ahead and take a look at how the Tar Heels stack up against the Blue Devils. Duke has lost its second game on Saturday against Virginia Tech, so they're 8-2 on the season. While their offense is solid, 32 points per game, the Blue Devils' defense is outstanding. Duke is 11th in the country in scoring defense, giving up only 18 points per game. So if Carolina's offense struggles against Duke, well, things could turn bad for UNC.
The Heels beat North Carolina Central 76-60, a score that was a little too close for comfort for Carolina. UNC started off strong with this dunk from Kennedy Meeks, 2 of his 10 points. Bryce Johnson led all scorers with 12 points. JP Tokido was close behind with 10 and had 4 assists, including this alley-oop to Isaiah Hicks. UNC struggled to push the tempo, especially after Central switched to his own defense. Coach Roy Williams said the game was a good lesson for the team.
I like the fact that you play a pretty doggone good team and you have some struggles, because everybody's got to look at themselves and the things we made mistakes. They've got to learn from it and then try to change it.
The basketball team didn't get long to rest, however, as the Heels hosted Robert Morris Sunday evening. Carolina got off to a quick start thanks to the work of Kennedy Meeks in the paint and never relinquished the lead. UNC benefited from strong performances by Meeks and Bryce Johnson, and Marcus Page helped pour it on from outside. Justin Jackson looked much more comfortable in his second outing, just finding ways to put the ball in the basket. Carolina won the game 103-59 for the first time, scoring 100 points. The fans will get biscuits from Bojangles. The fans get biscuits whenever the team breaks 100. Our basketball analyst rushed right out to get his freebie after the game, and Brett Thompson joins us now live in the studio.
Thanks, Susanna. Let me wipe the crumbs off my chin. Roy Williams has emphasized the importance of strong play by his big men, and on Sunday night, Kennedy Meeks and Bryce Johnson made the coach smile. The Tar Heel tandem dominated in the paint against Robert Morris, combining for 44 points and 20 rebounds, just 11 boards shy of Robert Morris's total as a team. Meeks has improved by shedding weight during the offseason and avoiding putting the ball on the floor, a habit that forced numerous turnovers last year. Johnson has used his length to his advantage, allowing him to extend toward the basket and score over large defenders. If these two can play like this consistently throughout the year, Carolina's potential for this season is through the roof. Now, part of the reason that these two scored at such a high clip is their free throw shooting, which, if you haven't been able to tell, has already improved from last year's rate. It's a positive sign that free throw shooting percentage has increased with each game, and while it's a small sample size, it's clear that the Tar Heels are much more comfortable at the charity stripe than they were last season. Now, speaking of players who struggled at the line, JP Tokoto has worked all summer at that facet of his game, and by the looks of things, he's also improved his passing ability. Tokoto contributed 10 assists in Sunday night's win, and according to Roy Williams, he could have had 15 had his teammates made their layups. Tokoto has come a long way from his freshman season when he averaged less than 1 assist per game. His ability to pass on the perimeter, into the post, and in transition has shined thus far, and this layer of his game makes the Carolina offense even more potent. Of course, when we think of JP Tokoto, we like to think of his impressive highlight reel of slam dunks, and now North Carolina has offered no shortage of those so far. Whether it's putback dunks, flashy alley-oops like this one to Tokoto, or even the occasional posterization, you name it, this freakishly athletic Tar Heel team has done it. And it's not just the dunks. Check out this block by Joel James. Carolina will use this athleticism to its advantage throughout the season, and it will be tough for any team to compete with the Heels above the rim. Everyone has to start somewhere. Basketball is no different. The greatest players play pickup in their neighborhood. The greatest coaches were at small schools, worked as assistants, or even equipment managers. Tate Frazier reports.
He doesn't stand out behind Roy Williams and the talented players and coaches along the UNC bench, but former manager Sean Dwyer will always remember these moments.
I feel like that's probably the best program in the nation. They just do things the right way, and they really know how to make that culture of winning.
After 3 full seasons with the UNC basketball team, Dwyer graduated and made the jump to a full-time job in a familiar setting, a gym working with the UNCG basketball program.
It's a little bit of everything. So I'm the video coordinator as well. I'm also the director of our statistics department, which is the department is me. So I'm doing a lot of statistics work.
He's on staff with 3 other former Heels with head coach Wes Miller, assistant coach Jackie Manuel, and head of basketball operations JB Tanner.
But that mainly because of the Wes and how great his staff is. Have really brought me in with welcome arms, and it's been great.
The Carolina Connection offers insight into the upper echelon of college basketball.
Actually, like working with the guys when they were getting prepared for the NBA draft, or Marcus Page, all of the last 2 years, being able to see what they did to get better and being able to relate that to this level, to these guys. Like, if you do this, like, you can see the measured jumps, like you can see the progression really take place.
Dwyer says the Carolina basketball family is extremely close-knit, and he attributes that culture to Roy Williams.
Coach Williams was incredible because he knew I was trying to get in basketball. So he did everything in his power to help me out and help me stay within the Carolina family, and he ultimately helped me get here with Wes.
The transition down I-40 is something Dwyer's enjoying, but he admits he'll miss witnessing moments of freakish athleticism like this one from JP Tokoto. In Greensboro, I'm Tate Frazier reporting.
Kind of reminds you of Eric Spoelstra of the Miami Heat. Started out as the team's video coordinator, rose through the ranks, and became a head coach in 2008. Back to the Tar Heels, Carolina will play this Saturday at Davidson, and then the Heels will travel to the Bahamas during the Thanksgiving break for the Battle for Atlantis tournament.
Thanks, Brett. That was basketball analyst Brett Thompson live in studio.
You know what really goes great with a win in football or basketball? Some warm, mouth-watering pizza at the concession stand. But just how does the university manage to feed thousands of hungry fans? Our AJ Nwoko has the answer.
Concessions and athletics have always gone hand in hand, but when it comes to serving fans of 28 different college sports, UNC has a lot on its plate. And though they say too many cooks can spoil a dish, UNC Associate Athletics Director Rick Steinbacher says the university has found the perfect partner to satisfy the appetites of the game day attendees.
We're in the business of athletics. We're used to providing opportunities to student athletes. We are not in the food service business, which is why we partner with a company, Aramark, that's what they do.
And according to Aramark, in just one football and basketball game alone, UNC Concessions is expected to serve 6,400 hot dogs, 3,000 slices of pizza, 500 pounds of popcorn, and all that's washed down with nearly 5,000 gallons of soda.
It's a lot of hot dogs, it's a lot of Cokes, it's a lot of Chick-fil-A sandwiches, it's a lot of Ben & Jerry's ice cream. In total, it's about $1.6 million a year.
When you think of concessions, a hot slice of pizza, a cool beverage, or if you're like me, a bag of kettle corn might come to mind. But Steinbacher says that UNC Concessions are trying to raise the bar even higher in the kind of foods that they provide.
We've had Firehouse Subs, we've had Ben & Jerry's. We even now sell Italian Pizzeria 3 from Franklin Street cheesesteaks at both football and basketball games.
And Steinbacher says that no fan can go wrong with this Philadelphia classic.
I have the soft pretzel. That's just kind of my personal favorite. So that's what I would tell fans.
And despite the hard work, Steinbacher says the enjoyment he gets out of overseeing concessions is icing on the cake, or cone.
The concessions is an important part of a game day experience. And it's a lot of fun to work with it on a college campus. It's a lot of fun to work with it here at Carolina.
So whether it's your favorite fountain drink or a game day hot dog, you can bet that UNC Concessions is sure to keep fans coming back for seconds. In Chapel Hill, I'm AJ Nwoko reporting.
You know, here at Sports Extra, we're a bit disappointed with AJ. One of the rules around here is if you do a story about food, you bring some back. We have nothing. Really, really sad. Head coach Sylvia Hatchell is back, and her Heels got off to a great start.
How Carolina dominated the weekend, next on Sports Extra.
Connect with us online by liking the Sports Extra Facebook page and following us on Twitter at @SportsExtra_UNC.
Staring contest! You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Dad's home!
Yeah. The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
No more pencils, no more books.
No more teachers, dirty looks.
School's out
for summer.
What this place needed was better graduation rates. So we worked with schools like Henry Ford High, and now they're up 18%. To help us do more good this year, go to UnitedWay.org because great things happen when we live united.
Women's basketball head coach Sylvia Hatchell is enjoying her return to the sidelines after beating leukemia last season. Following a win against Howard on Friday, the Heels faced UCLA on Sunday. The Heels started off with a high-powered offense, pushing the ball up the floor for breakaway layups like that one from Jamie Cherry. UCLA stuck with the Heels, but Alicia Gray completely took over at the end of the first half, draining 9 of her 19 points in 10 minutes. Her highlight of the night was this sweet turnaround fadeaway. The Heels would pull away in the second half to win 84-68, improving to 2-0 on the season. The Heels host Oklahoma State on Wednesday.
The field hockey team is a perennial part of the playoff picture. The Heels are on their way to yet another Final Four appearance. Carolina got their first win of the weekend against Liberty, pulling out the win in a nail-biter 2-1. Emma Bozick scored first for Carolina after she deflected a penalty corner from Nina Notman. The Flames quickly tied the game when the Heels failed to clear this ball on defense. Junior Casey DiNardo scored the game winner after she directed Notman's penalty shot in the second round Sunday against Duke. The team scored the game-winning shot 32 minutes in. With this goal from Lauren Sheely, here it comes. Very nice goal there. The Heels recorded a 3-0 shutout win against the Blue Devils, allowing only 2 shots on goal. Carolina will move on to the quarterfinal round. Carolina now moves on to its 5th straight Final Four appearance. It won't be an easy road for the Tar Heels. Carolina will play Syracuse in the semifinals. Syracuse knocked out UNC of the ACC tournament just about a week ago. And if Carolina can get past Syracuse, well, they may have to face off against defending national champ UConn, the same team that eliminated the Heels last year. Now, let's go live to reporter Morgan Ammons, who's at the team's field house at Henry Stadium. Morgan, the Heels had a chance at a national championship. It would be their 7th.
It's just weird that we haven't heard.
Morgan, can you hear me? We seem to be having some technical difficulties. We'll get right back to you with that, Morgan Ammons, live from the field house for field hockey. We're moving on to soccer now. We're going to be moving on to women's soccer. Susanna, I think you have a little bit more with that.
I do. UNC battled South Dakota State on Friday in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Carolina punched a ticket to round 2 with the 2-0 win. Amber Munnerlyn carved through the Jackrabbit defense to score the Tar Heels' first goal of the night from 8 yards out. It was her 4th goal of the season. Later in the first half, Maya Worth chased down a loose ball and crossed it perfectly. Right here, there it is to Paige Nielsen, who punched it for her 5th goal on the year. Heels win, Heels win. Round number 1 is done. Let's take a look at what the rest of the bracket has in store for Carolina. First off, UNC will have to knock off Colorado. That game is at Fetzer Field at 7 this Friday. Then there could be a matchup against the 3-seed South Carolina. Carolina is in the same region as fellow ACC powerhouse Florida State, so the road to the Final Four could be tricky for the Tar Heels. The highest ranked battle in ACC history.
How Carolina dug deep and pulled out the win when Sports Extra returns.
That's low. That's low and blue.
If you store your guns properly,
I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
I won't have to tell so many family members. I'm sorry.
I won't hear as many scary stories.
And I won't have to tell my kids. This isn't a drill.
Please.
Please, do it for us.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always, lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
Hart, what's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit. Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just please, don't leave. Okay. But remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Welcome back to Sports Extra. We are now going to go join reporter Morgan Ammons live at the Henry Stadium Fieldhouse. Morgan, the Heels have a chance at a national championship. It would be their 7th.
Thanks, Lewis. I had a chance to sit down with head field hockey coach Karen Shelton to talk about what's in store for the Heels as they face their 5th straight Final Four on Friday. You've had a high ranking the whole season, and now you're headed to the Final Four. This has happened to y'all a lot in the last couple of years, but you didn't bring home the title. How has that affected you as a coach?
Well, it hasn't affected me at all because, you know, all we're trying to do is be consistent and to have good habits. And so if you have good habits, you have a chance. We just want to get in a position where we can win a national championship. Anybody in sport knows how hard it is, and you can do everything right. And sometimes the ball will bounce the other team's way. Sometimes you can't control all the things that can happen. So what we want to do is control the controllables, stay in the moment, take care of what's important now. Don't think ahead, don't think behind. All we can do is stay focused and stay in the moment.
What are you going to do to make sure your team comes home with that title?
Well, you know, just make them feel good and comfortable, and you know, they shouldn't. We don't want them to feel any kind of stress. You know, and we talked about in our staff how the elephant in the room is the fact that we've been there the last few times and haven't come home with the title. Well, this is a different year. This is a new statement, and so I think, again, the chemistry is different. There's a lot of things that are really different about this team. Does that mean we're going to win it? No. All we want to do is have the chance.
This is the 3rd time the Heels are playing Syracuse. They beat the Orange in the regular season, but failed to the 'Cuse in the semifinal round of the ACC tournament. Because of these teams' histories, it's going to be a big game on Friday.
Morgan Ammons live at the Fieldhouse at Henry Stadium. Thanks, Morgan. The men's and women's cross-country teams are back from the NCAA Southeast Regional. The women's team came in 3rd place with 94 points. Senior Annie Lahardy won the individual title. The men's team also came in 3rd place with 87 points. Senior Ryan Walling led the team with a 9th place finish for the first time. Both the men's and women's teams earned at-large bids to the NCAA cross-country championships. Now, it was also a very good weekend for the Carolina wrestling team. Following a 1-point team loss to Stanford, Carolina went to California for the 2014 Roadrunner Open and came back with an individual championship. Joey Ward dominated at 141 pounds. Ward outscored opponents 30-3 to claim the title. Now, excellence in volleyball is supposed to be the domain of the West Coast teams, but the Heels and some of their ACC compatriots are working to change that. The 8th-ranked Heels made history by beating 3rd-ranked FSU in 4 sets. This win was against the highest-ranked opponent in UNC volleyball history. Defense was key, with Carolina putting up 17.5 blocks, like this one from junior Paige Neuenfeld, and this one from sophomore Haley McCorkle. Paige dominated the 4th set, hitting 5 for 5, and ended the game with another great block. This time from sophomore Victoria McPherson. It's coming up. There it is. Never before had 2 ACC teams ranked this high met on the volleyball courts. The Heels are now number 7 in the poll. Joining us now to discuss the huge win for Carolina volleyball is junior middle blocker Paige Neuenfeld. Paige, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So Friday was the highest ranked matchup between 2 ACC teams. What was it like to pull off the win against Florida State?
It was a really surreal feeling. We had a great crowd in Carmichael. Carolina Fever was there, and there was just so much energy. We had a record-breaking crowd, I'm pretty sure. So it was just a really cool atmosphere to get a play in, and being the first ever top 10 ACC showdown. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, for real, it's got to be such a great environment. I mean, you talk about Carmichael a little bit. You guys have done very well there over the past year and a couple months now, I believe. Actually, the last time, if I remember correctly, the last time you lost was in October in Carmichael. What is it like to have such a big home court advantage?
You know, it's awesome. We're really happy and we're really lucky to be able to play in Carmichael. It's such a great place to hold an event for volleyball. It's a historical place. You know, Michael Jordan used to play there, but we always have a great crowd. Fever comes out, and it's just, there's been so much support this year for volleyball, and we're really happy with the turnout every time and all our loyal fans who keep coming back to support us.
Yeah, they definitely are loyal, that's for sure. So being able to beat FSU, who is a perennial powerhouse, that's got to do something to your guys' confidence.
Yeah, it definitely does. FSU was unbeaten going into this weekend before Duke beat them, so it was really great for us to come out with that victory and to lead us into the last 4 games of the ACC. Hopefully we can come out on top and finish out the season with the ACC win to take us into the postseason.
All right, well, Paige Neuenfeld, thank you for being here, and good luck to you for those last 4 games of the regular season.
Thank you.
Now, he has one of the best nicknames in sports history, Sleepy.
His Tar Heel daughter is working to distinguish herself too by being wide awake on the track.
Don't forget to tune into our sister shows, Carolina Week at 5 p.m. every Wednesday on Time Warner 24 or Campus Channel 34, and Carolina Connection at 8:30 every Saturday morning on WCHL 97.9 FM.
The great outside.
My new mom and I have a lot in common.
So shiny.
We both love the outdoors.
That's not a flower.
And she knows a lot about wildlife.
A labradoodle.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
You wouldn't let money just blow out of your house. So when your AC or heater is on, make sure the doors, windows, and fireplace flue are shut tight. If you're headed out, turn down the AC or lower the heat by 10 degrees. And always keep your water heater set at 120. A little bit of common sense goes a long way. Get more great tips at energysaver.gov.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
There are several athletes in Tar Heel history who've had famous sports dads.
Brian McIntosh introduces us to a track standout whose father is an NBA record holder.
Open, Chicago with
the flu game.
Pass comes into Jordan. Here's
the
Michael
shot.
At the foul line. A shot on Elo. Good!
All prominent moments in NBA playoff history. However, the most spectacular one might have come on May 11th, 1987, where Eric "Sleepy" Floyd dropped 29 points on Magic Johnson and the Lakers in the fourth quarter, scoring a total of 51 for the night.
Come the end of the third quarter, they up by 14, and they're talking a lot of trash, one of the biggest trash-talking teams in the league. So just got fed up with it, and I made a decision in my mind, and also physically just to take over the game and let them know if I wanted to do this, I could.
And Floyd did just that, setting an NBA playoff record with 29 points in one quarter that still stands today, making Eric "Sleepy" Floyd a household name. Just like that night against the Lakers, Floyd was pretty much the underdog his whole career, fighting to prove he belonged in the league, much like his daughter and Tar Heel's own, Corey Floyd.
He kind of helped me stick with track when I was at my lowest because he understands the struggles between a relationship between your coach and he understands the long practice days, and he gets the, having to travel all the time, having to sacrifice.
Just like her dad, Corey had her very own sleepy game.
It was the ACC competition, and they had put me in the 4x4. And we were ridiculously behind. Once the baton got to me, I made that decision that I was going to do whatever I could to kind of get back in the race.
Corey ran her personal best 55 seconds flat in the 400, nearly bringing her team to a comeback win.
Oh, it feels so good.
Just like her dad, Corey hopes to leave her mark, and this Tar Heel is wide awake. In Chapel Hill, I'm Brian McIntosh reporting.
That's it for this edition of Sports Extra.
Thanks for watching. Have a great night.